Assalamu alaikum, Amal fellows. I hope you are all feeling incredibly excited to be graduating from the fellowship today. I am certainly beyond proud of each one of you and the journey that you have been on. And wanted to share a few things that hopefully might be an encouragement for what lies ahead in your journey. As many of you know, I have been working on a forest restoration project for the last couple of years now, and the progress has been pretty slow at times. And so I have been spending some time thinking about why that is and wanted to share what I've been learning. Earlier this year, I had a chance to return to my grandma Ollie's ancestral village in Eudora, Arkansas. Many of you will remember her from the fellowship and her famous line, "Whether you think you can or think you cannot, you are right." And I've been thinking about this line and about my grandmother, who I never really had a chance to meet. She passed away when I was only a few months old. And so I hopped in the car, drove 2,500 kilometers across the country, and pulled up in this very rural countryside town of about 4,000, 5,000 people, just 5 miles or so west of Mississippi, 7 miles or so north of Louisiana, along the great Mississippi River Delta. And the purpose of my visit was really to try and understand my grandparents more. They grew up in that town. They had to pick cotton in that town. They graduated from that town and then they left and they never returned. And I wanted to know what happens when you never return to a place and what is lost by that exodus, and can any of it be regained? And so I drove around that town. I walked around that town. I talked to the people. I went across the train tracks that kind of segregated the town. On one side is where the black people used to live. On the other is where the white people lived. I went to the school that was where my grandparents studied. It's closed down, but the building is still there. It was called the Eudora Colored High School, which was a segregated school where only the black students went. I saw the fields that they picked cotton from as sharecroppers, really against their will, but they had no choice. I saw the church that they most likely went to, called Mount Zion Baptist, and I talked to the people there. But ultimately, I didn't have really any epiphanies, any ahas. And so I left. I came back here to New York. I wrote about them. I thought about them. And here's what I ultimately am discovering, that the work of forest restoration in many ways depends on my own restoration with the land and my own ability to sort of heal from some of the past trauma and the history, the complex history that I and my family have had with the land. And this is a surprising insight for me because there are so many people that have complex histories with land. In many ways, we've been extracting from the land. We have been taking land that isn't ours for centuries. And we're in a pretty terrible situation regarding climate change and the environment, and it's confusing to me how we allowed that to happen. And so what I realized for my own project, and perhaps even for the greater climate change effort, is that we really need to, and I really need to, restore my own relationship with the land and my history with the land in order to then try and help restore the forest and protect the forest. And so the application or the insight for each of you in the fellowship is to really encourage you to continue that work of self-introspection and self-healing and self-growth, that we can only try and help others after or while we're helping ourselves. And whether it's focusing on your mental health, your physical health, your sort of journey as a lifelong learner, whatever it might be, I want to encourage you to continue investing in yourself in that way, even as you leave the fellowship, because the stronger you are, the more you'll be able to help people around you. And oftentimes it's when we get so caught up in trying to help everyone else that we lose sight of who it is that we are. And so I wanted to share my own personal journey in order to say that I am on the path with each one of you. I am walking alongside of you. And in many ways, your progress is interlinked to mine. And so I am certainly wishing you Godspeed. I am incredibly proud of all the progress that you've made. And I feel very hopeful about what lies ahead for all of us. Congratulations again, Bahot Mubarak, and Assalamu alaikum. Hope to see you soon, inshallah.